A very good morning to all of you friends. I'm really glad that our school has given us this opportunity to be able to connect with all of you so that we teachers don't miss our teaching and you don't miss your learning. So please don't waste your time and prepare your lessons well. So today I'm going to give you a lesson on biology of class 9, that is chapter 5, the fundamental unit of life. Now, you have read in class 8 that the fundamental unit of life is a cell. Cell is called the fundamental unit of life. That means the basic unit of life. Cell is called the basic or fundamental unit of life because it is the structural unit of life and it is also the functional unit of life. You know, all organisms are made up of cells, either plants, animals or microorganisms. So cell forms the structural unit. That means they are the building blocks of our body. The smallest unit of our body are made up of cells. So cells are called the structural unit of our body. They also are known as building blocks of our body. The cells are also called functional unit because all the life processes in our body takes place in these cells. Life processes such as nutrition, absorption, secretion, excretion, etc. So we get two definitions of cell from here. Cell is called the fundamental unit of life. Cell is also called the structural and functional unit of life. Now, what is present inside a cell? When do we say this is a cell? Now here you can see a diagram of cell, a very simple diagram of a cell. You can call it animal cell. Now a cell is made up of basically three parts. Okay, if you say how does a cell look like or what are the various parts of a cell? So there are three parts in a cell. The outermost boundary, that is called the cell membrane. It is also known as plasma membrane. The nucleus that contains the genetic substance, either in the form of DNA or RNA, that carry genes which help in transmission of characters from one generation to another. The third most important part of cell is protoplasm. Protoplasm is also composed of cytoplasm and cell organelles. So once again, what does a cell look like? A cell consists of three important parts or three basic parts. They are cell membrane, also called plasma membrane, the nucleus and protoplasm. Now, this is a diagram of cell. You can see this is the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. This is the nucleus. In case of animal cell, it is centrally located, whereas in case of plant cell, because they have large vacuole, so the nucleus is shifted to one of the sides of the cell. And this is the protoplasm or the basic matrix of the cell. Now let us go to the next topic. Now we are going to discuss about cell membrane now. As you know, this is the most important part of cell because it separates the content of the cell from outside. So let us define cell membrane. Cell membrane is the outermost covering of the cell that separates the contents of the cell from its external environment. Once again, the definition of cell membrane, you will learn it from the NCERT book because I have made these notes right directly from the NCERT book, so you can refer to it. So the definition of cell membrane is, cell membrane is the outermost covering of the cell that separates the contents of the cell from its external environment. That is why it is called the outermost boundary of the cell or the protective covering. Now where is it found? It is found in almost all plant cells and animal cells. But in case of plant cells, you should know there is another boundary that protects the cell membrane, that is known as cell wall. So we will discuss about cell wall in the next videos. Now, what is the cell membrane made up of? It is made up of proteins and lipids. what is the function of cell membrane? The most important point, because in this particular video, we are also going to discuss about two important processes, that is diffusion and osmosis. So those two important processes are related to the properties of cell membrane. So let us see the function of the cell membrane. The cell membrane allows or permits the entry and exit of certain substances in and out of the cell. Once again, the most important function of cell membrane is it allows or permits the entry and exit of certain substances in and out of the cell. Now, those certain substances are highly selective in nature. Not all substances, only certain substances like oxygen, carbon dioxide or water, like gases or some substances which are present in dissolved state. Okay? So these certain substances are highly selective. Not all substances are allowed through the cell membrane. So the cell membrane has also got another name, that is called selectively permeable membrane. So the cell membrane is also known as selectively permeable membrane. Why is the cell membrane also called selectively permeable membrane? Because it allows or permits the entry and exit of certain substances in and out of the cell. In this simple diagram you can see here, suppose this is the cell, inner part of the cell. Certain substances can easily move across the cell membrane. Okay, they can freely move in and out according to their concentration. Those substances can be any gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide or water molecules. Now, students, how do these substances move across the cell membrane? Let us see the next topic. So, how does the movement of substances take place? Now, here we are going to study about two very important processes, that is diffusion and osmosis. Rest of the chapter, children, you can refer to the NCERT book. It is more or less easy for you to understand because you have already read this chapter in class 8. But diffusion and osmosis requires a little bit more concentration. So please pay attention. Now, diffusion and osmosis, these are the two processes by the help of which substances can move in and out of the cell. So I have divided into two separate columns in order to differentiate diffusion and osmosis. Let us see. Now, in case of diffusion, I have drawn an animal cell here. Okay, by the help of a simple example, I will try to show you the process of diffusion. See, inside the cell, suppose any life process takes place. Let us take it, for example, respiration. Respiration is a life process that occurs inside the cells. Now, you have already read that during respiration, glucose and oxygen combines to form water, carbon dioxide and energy. This energy is stored inside the cell, okay? But carbon dioxide and water must be removed from the cell. Now, suppose we have taken here example of carbon dioxide. See, after respiration, the production of carbon dioxide is more inside the cell. That means its concentration is high. So, carbon dioxide tends to move from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration. Once again, during the process of respiration, when huge amount of CO2 is produced inside the cell, then because of its high concentration, the CO2 molecules move from a region of high concentration, that means from inside the cell, to a region of low concentration, that means outside the cell. They can easily diffuse outside. Okay, they are free to move about according to their concentration. So let us see what is diffusion. Now here I have defined diffusion, the process in which gases or dissolved substances move from a region of their high concentration to a region of their low concentration. What kind of molecules? Molecules may be either in gaseous state or may be in dissolved state. Now, diffusion occurs in both liquid and gaseous medium. Okay, that means both liquids and gaseous molecules are free to move in and out of the cell according to their concentration gradient. Also, equilibrium is achieved after some time because the molecules are freely diffusing in and out of the cell. So, after some time, equilibrium can be achieved. And semi-permeable membrane is not required here. Okay, so semi-permeable membrane may be present, may not be present, but the molecules are free to move in and out. So that is diffusion. Once again, the process in which gases or dissolved substances move from a region of their high concentration to a region of their low concentration is known as diffusion. Let us see how is the process of diffusion different from that of osmosis. Now, in case of osmosis, I have drawn a diagram of a dry resin, and suppose we have soaked it in water for 2 hours. After that, you will see the dry resins, they have swelled up. Okay, for example, this resin, it has swelled up. Now, water has entered. We have in this medium, we have taken water, and water has entered inside the dry resin, and so there is swelling of the resin. Now, I will come back to this figure. Let us first define what is osmosis. In this case, what happens? Water molecules move from a region of its high concentration to a region of its low concentration. Okay, let us see the definition of osmosis. The process in which water or solvent molecules move from a region of their higher concentration to a region of their low concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so please don't forget to mention semi-permeable membrane. So this is the semi-permeable membrane, that is the skin of the resin. And only water molecules are capable of moving from outside medium into the cell. Let us come to this figure. Suppose this is the resin. The resin has a few water molecules, very few, and solute molecules are there. Whereas this is the external medium. Okay, the external medium that consists of water. Now here, after some time, we will see that water can easily diffuse in through the semi-permeable membrane. But the solute molecules, because they are having bigger size, so the solute molecules are not capable of crossing this barrier and come to the opposite side. So children, equilibrium is never achieved. Okay, in case of osmosis, here we will study equilibrium is never achieved. Now, osmosis also occurs in liquid medium. Okay, and semi-permeable membrane is required. So please try to compare diffusion and osmosis. In case of diffusion, there is movement of gases or solute molecules or dissolved substances. But in case of osmosis, there is movement of water molecules or solvent molecules from a region of their high concentration to a region of their low concentration. Okay, so these are some of the differences between these two important processes, that is diffusion and osmosis. Mind you children, diffusion and osmosis are the two processes by which substances move in and out of the cell. So movement of various types of solute substances, can be gases, can be water molecules, can be salt molecules, amino acids. So they move in and out of the cell by the help of these two important processes, that is called diffusion and osmosis. So please don't forget, in case of osmosis there is movement of water molecules, but in case of diffusion there is movement of solute molecules. Let us go to the next page and let us find out what are the two types of osmosis. Now this is the next very important topic of this chapter. What are the two types of osmosis? Now here I have tried to clear your concept by the help of a very simple diagram. Suppose we have taken a tissue, living tissue here. It may be any, you can say plant or animal, of any plant and animal origin. Here I have taken suppose an RBC cell, okay, mammalian RBC cell. Now we will place this cell in three different types of solution in order to find out the fate of RBC in these three different types of solution. What will happen to RBC when it is kept in these three different types of solution? Let us see what are the different types of solutions that we have taken here. This is the isotonic solution. Second case we have taken hypotonic solution. And in the third case we have taken hypertonic solution. Now isotonic means same. That means concentration of the external medium is similar to the cell. Okay, so the concentration is same. We have written here the solution has same water concentration as that of the cell. So it is isotonic. Okay. In the next case, the solution has higher water concentration than the cell or the tissue. Once again, the solution has higher water concentration than the cell or the tissue. So it is known as a hypotonic solution. Hypotonic solution means it is a dilute solution. Okay, that means it contains a higher water concentration. Water concentration is more outside than inside the cell. In the third case, we have taken a solution that has lower water concentration than the cell. Lower water concentration means it is a concentrated solution, maybe of salt or sugar. So the concentration of water in this external medium is less than the cell. So we will keep this RBC in these three types of solution. Once again, isotonic, hypotonic and hypertonic solutions. After 1 or 2 hours, let us see what we will observe. Now, in case of isotonic solution, when the RBC or any cell or any tissue, living tissue is kept in isotonic solution, let us see, there is no osmosis. That means water entering the cell is equal to water leaving the cell. Okay, so the net movement of water across this membrane is more or less equivalent or equal. So there is no osmosis. But in this case, let us see, the cell after some time swells up and in some cases it may burst open. So the cell swells up. Why did it happen? Because water entering the cell is more than water leaving the cell. Because the external medium is hypotonic, it has higher concentration of water. That is why water tends to move inside the cell. So after some time the cell swells up and it may burst also. So this process is called endo osmosis. That means the direction of movement of water is from the external medium into the cell or towards the cell. So endo osmosis, water has entered inside the cell, endo osmosis. But in this case, let us see, when the solution is having a lower water concentration, then what will happen to the RBC? After some time we will see that there is shrinkage of the cell. Okay, after some time the cell has become shrunk. So it has caused shrinkage of the cell. This is also called plasmolysis. The cell has become plasmolysed. Why is it so? Because water leaving the cell is more than water entering the cell. That means water has moved out of the cell and that has caused the resin to shrink. This process is called exo-osmosis. That means water has moved out of the cell. So exo-osmosis, that is exactly opposite to endo-osmosis. In case of endo-osmosis, because the solution is dilute, so water has entered into the cell. But in case of exosmosis, because the outside external medium is highly concentrated, that is why it has withdrawn water from the cell. So water has moved from inside the cell towards outside. So we call it exo-osmosis. So here we complete the process of diffusion and osmosis and the two types of osmosis, that is exosmosis and endosmosis, and the three types of solutions, that is isotonic, hypotonic and hypertonic solutions. Now some assignments for you. I hope you have understood today. Now, this is your assignment. Please write it in your class copies and submit it on time when the school reopens. This is completely based on today's topic. So, let us see today's assignment. So, question number 1. Define cell membrane. I hope you will be able to define what is cell membrane. Question number 1. Define cell membrane. Question number 2. Why is the cell membrane known as selectively permeable membrane? Why is the cell membrane also called selectively permeable membrane? Question number 3. Define diffusion and osmosis. Define diffusion and osmosis. Question number 4. Write any 4 differences between diffusion and osmosis. Okay, write any 4 differences between diffusion and osmosis. Question number 5. Differentiate between endosmosis and exosmosis with example. Okay, differentiate between endosmosis and exosmosis with examples. So here we finish today's topic. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please prepare yourself during these holidays. Thank you so much.